thanks for stopping by. I'd like to preface this video by saying it is not a knitting tutorial, but a means to have something playing in the background while you work on your own knitting project. If you're like me and really enjoy watching videos while you work, sometimes you find that the content you like to watch is very visually engaging, and you're several hours in and haven't gotten nearly as far along in your knitting project or crochet or whatever as you would have liked to. So that's where I come in. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're returning, welcome back. We are, as you can see by the title, continuing with our Jolie Mimi Cardigan, and I just have a little smidget of a bit of it done. Trying to think like what is the best word to describe where we are right now. So we're not very far at all, but we're definitely making our way along. So we'll get right into it. And I want to say that it's not a bowl, but I'm just using one of the project bags that I haven't put a project in a while, so hopefully this will contain my ball of yarn so it doesn't bounce all over the place, but we'll see. I'm thinking it'll work, but as far as functionality goes, it'll just be what it is until I find something that really speaks to me as like my designated yarn storage for working on a live ball of yarn. So we're just gonna get right into it, and I hope you're all having a good day wherever you are. It's Friday night, very late Friday night. I didn't take a nap during my work, my break today, so I was just kind of, just in one of those fogs. So around 5:15, 5:16, when I was done for my work day, I came upstairs and I took a nap, and now it is basically like 11 o'clock at night. So as you can see, that's probably a bad thing. I really did set my alarm for maybe like an hour or two because I had planned to make dinner, but then I was like, forget it. Like, it went off. I think I might have snoozed it or just turned it off all on its own. I can't remember exactly, and I had no interruptions since then, so just sleep. And I really think I just needed just to have those moments where I'm not only not knitting and I'm not just reading or sitting, but I'm actually just knocked all the way out, so my body can just rest from all of the stuff that we have going on here. So I hope you all are doing okay where you are. You know what? I mentioned earlier that I wasn't going to buy any yarn because I don't really have anything. Well, at this point, I do know a project I want to start, but it will be using existing yarn I have. However, I'm not starting it yet until we get into that pattern book from the Perusing Pattern Books series, that if you are interested in looking at some pattern inspiration, I strongly suggest checking it out. I think I can link in the card what that playlist is if you want to watch it. There aren't too many episodes up yet, but I do have more. Something shifted over there. I do have more coming because I still have a lot of pattern books and catalogs and magazines to go through with you guys. And then as mentioned in the description of that playlist, I'll just keep doing that as I get more pattern books, which I have some in mind that I want, but considering I would like to kind of bust through some yarn I already have, we'll see. So I have like odds and ends of yarn, so I probably will have to buy more just to supplement what I have to make sure I have enough for a project. But I also have been kind of thinking about some stash busting ideas of just little quick projects that I can use without needing tons and tons and tons of yarn. Some of those being making more of those little cats that I made. Now that I have the pattern, I can adjust the needle size and yarn size or yarn weight to different yarns I have. And of course they're not all going to be like little micro kitties, but different sizes will definitely be fun. And I wanted to do that for my coworkers so that maybe one day when we're all together again, I can give them the kitties, deciding whether or not I just want to ship them to them. But I would like to go in person to the craft store, and I could always order online, but I don't know. Something about being in the craft store is just like feels better to me, because I'm saying craft store because I need to get some more polyfill. One, for my off-brand non-licensed character Pikachu, who still needs some stuffing, and I have a really big Hello Kitty that my aunt made for me that needs more, and I have those little micro kitties that I want to continue working with. And it's nice to go to the craft store because I can look at different things. I love buying different paint brushes for my paint projects and craft paper and different embellishments that I can add to when I make my cards for my friends and family and stuff like that. And of course any yarn in bulk that I can find, like Karen or Burnett, Heart brand, something like that, that if I'm working on just a quick project, then I can swoop some of that up. And they usually have like a coupon where it's either like 50% off one item, 20% off your whole purchase, stuff like that. So I have varying ways that I can save money while I go, which is why I like to pop in the craft store here and there. Oh, but we made our quota for this week in eating from restaurants that are still open. We had, what did I buy? Oh, Little Caesars, because I just had a hankering for crazy bread. So my partner had to go to their job on, what day was that? Not yesterday. Yesterday was Thursday. Wednesday. So Wednesday? I think. Yeah, it was either Tuesday or Wednesday. They had to go to their job to do something, and I was like, oh, they asked me if I wanted something. And before that, they already went to their job, I think maybe Monday, and they picked up Taco Bell because they really wanted Taco Bell. And so I was like, fine, I'll take something. So he did that, and then on the next day that they had to go out to work again, they asked if I wanted anything, and I said, well, this time let's pick up Little Caesars, because we hadn't had it in, not that we should ever have it in our life at all, but it had been several months since we had a Little Caesars. Maybe even close to like 5 or 6 months. It's been a long time. And I placed the order for pickup, and so they went and got it and brought it home. And then they had to go to work again today, and then they brought back some food from a chain that's by us. And since I don't think I've quite doxed myself yet, I won't say what it was, because then that'll definitely give it away. But they brought me back some food there, and it was after I had already eaten lunch, so it was kind of like a dinner type of thing. So it wasn't quite dinner time, and it was definitely later than lunchtime when I ate what they brought home, and then I was fine. So I wasn't hungry when I went to sleep, and when I woke up I was kind of like grumbly tummy, but not like stomach ache, but like hungry. But I'm like, you know what, I just ate a lot of food already, and I'm not hungry, so I'll just film with you guys, because it's super late, and I really don't want to be eating crazy hours anymore, because I've seen that that's not that good for me, especially if I'm not going to be like doing anything to help exert that energy from that food. But that is okay. However, now that we have exhausted our takeout food for the week, I've been trying to do it just once a week. If it has to come out of my pocket, it's a once a week thing now. Considering we still have to buy groceries in kind of semi-bulk. We usually would go maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks to the grocery store, but now it's getting closer to like once every 2.5 to 3 weeks, based on what we can use up before we really, really have to go. So that's been nice. However, I was watching something might not have been last night, it might have been the night before, and I was like, I just had this little tingle in my mouth of like the taste of pho broth. If you don't know what pho is, it's a Vietnamese noodle soup. It's like a broth soup with rice noodles, and it comes in with various things. You could have it with meat, like red meat or a chicken, or you could have it with vegetables and have like a vegetarian type of thing. But it's usually a bone broth, so you'd have to have like a vegetarian substitute, which they do have, but the flavors of it are just so tasty. And we haven't had pho. Well, there's a restaurant near us. There are a couple actually that are nearby that are nice. I mean, they're not like the best. Like back in my hometown and the Pacific Northwest, like pho, like you can go anywhere and get pho. It's all over the place. But in the Midwest, it's not as common. So you're lucky if you find it. And we're lucky we live relatively close to 2 to 3 different ones. They're all kind of far, but they're close-ish. And they're pretty good. Like every place I go, it all tastes the same. It's just like kind of like the portion, the price, the quality of service, and that you get when you go. That all varies. But man, the more I think about it, the more I want that to be my takeout meal next week, because the place that's closest to us is still open that I know of, but I don't know about the others, and it might be nice just to call in, because they're small. All of the ones are small by us, so helping them, small business, but beyond food, there's a local yarn shop that's not local to me, but I did visit them during my yarn crawl I did over the summer, which stinks because I'm probably not going to be able to do that this year, considering the situation. But it was really fun, and I got a lot of cool stuff, got to visit a lot of yarn shops in person that I never knew about, and just because I haven't been that active in the community till I started knitting and getting more involved as my skills have improved, and learned about other shops that are close to me, or at least easy for me to get to with public transit. And so I saw that they are still open. They're doing like home delivery, well, they're shipping stuff. How are we doing? Very well, very well. Checking my battery and my time. So I saw they were kind of like advertising. I got like an email that they're like, hey, we're still, even though we're all locked down right now, we are still open and we're taking orders online. So if you want something, go ahead and place an order and we'll ship it to you. So it's like, And it wasn't even that I wanted anything, because I don't really, it's not that I need anything. Let's say that, because I always want something, but do I need something? No. But I saw these these trios that she had pictures of, different colorway trios through this one brand, and I was like, those are so pretty. There's like two solidy kind of colors, and then there's like a speckle dyed one of like the two colorways, and like some other ones to pair with it. And I'm like, I don't even know what I could probably do like a shawl. I could probably do like another cow or something like that, where it uses like some kind of color blocking and kind of like inner not maybe intarsia, but like some kind of way where like all the colors kind of come together, and then you can see that separation of the two like solid primary colors that are used. And I thought it was just stunning. I was like, okay, if I'm gonna buy something, I'm probably gonna buy that, because there's nothing else that I mean, I've seen a lot of stuff that's just like, ooh, like that all is very inspiring and very cool, and I want to add it to my collection, but at the same time, I don't really want to buy anything at this point because I don't need anything, and I have a lot of yarn to bust through with like sock projects and other stuff like that. But because it's a local business and that photo just really caught my eye, I was just like, maybe, okay, we'll see. I had to see what the prices are, because of course they were not listed on the photos. So once I know that, I'll decide if I really want to go through with the purchase, because they were lovely. But it's so nice to see a lot of people. Of course, if you are on Instagram and you follow like Local Yarn Shop or Knitting or Knitters of Instagram, and you can see a lot of different inspiration and a lot of different projects people are either starting or finishing if they've had it kind of on the back burner for a while. So that's really cool. I've been looking at real estate lately because I'm inching closer to being able to pay off enough of my like student loans where my debt to income ratio will be okay enough that I qualify for housing loan. And so I guess I've been doing a lot of research. Well, I did research before when I thought I could buy one, before I realized that my debt to income ratio it was my debt to income ratio, and it was the fact that I was on, and still am on, an income-based repayment plan for my federal student loans, that the person I was working with to get into the home buying process was like, yeah, you need your loans to be fully amortized. I'm probably not saying that word. Amortized, something like that. Amortized, I think, which basically like you have a projected payment list. It's like laid out, like every single payment that you owe until the loan is paid out, so they know like how much your debt is monthly, with like consistently monthly. So since my federal loans are income based, it adjusts every year when I file my taxes, and I put in my tax information of what I made, and that adjusts what my monthly payment is. So that's going to fluctuate with my income. So of course that's not going to be amortized, and so they wouldn't accept that. But of course my private loans, since it's just a flat percentage rate and loan payback schedule, that doesn't change. So there was no dice, and I owed a lot more because I was not making as much as I do now. But at the same time, I was in grad school, and so now that I'm out of grad school, I have, one, accumulated more debt because that is how it works, and two, I have put in my application for the loan forgiveness for working at a public service or like nonprofit public service employee, and I have not yet heard back if they have accepted my paperwork, but it did say it takes up to 120 days to process all of that, and with all of this other stuff now, I'm sure that's pushed it back even more. But I faxed all that in right before I was kicked out of, well, not kicked out, but right before we closed to the public, and we're no longer able to work in our building. And I haven't seen anything, haven't heard anything yet. And so it's only been like maybe a month and a half. So very, very early on in the stages of getting everything ironed out, if that. So I had all that ready to go. So once I find out if I'm on track for loan forgiveness, I will be able to hopefully qualify for something. I feel like this is deja vu. We've talked about this before. I was probably working on this project too, and I feel like I may have even mentioned this in another video, but that's how it is. I feel like I always need to write these deja vu moments down because they happen, and I can never know if what happened after was a good or bad. Like, I'm trying to think, like, is it an omen if I'm having like these reoccurring instances of things happening? I mean, I know my life is pretty routine, but come on now, like, it's not that routine. It's not that routine. I have a premonition and I can't decipher what it is. But nonetheless, we're here. Hopefully it's not a bad thing. I mean, nothing horrible. I mean, there've been some bad things that have happened in my life after deja vu moments, but nothing to the point where I feel like my life is over as I know it. Like, nothing like that. So I'm just like, I don't know what this means. I need to write these down. But here we are, little old me, looking at real estate, nonetheless trying to fantasize about when I can start the home loan new buyer applications and wait around for that. Considering how things are going in the world right now, my partner and I talked about it, and we will likely just take the leap, renew our lease, because I actually just got the paperwork to renew it the other day, and they want it by the end of the month. So April 30th is the day I need to have my documents in, and I'm still up in the air on the job situation as far as any new employment. I haven't had anything finalized yet, so depending on how that goes, of course, once things open up again, there might be more job applications that come around, but at this point, navigating like interviews through Zoom, or not having in-person interviews, or seeing where I would be working, and all of that stuff is probably just going to be put on hold until some of the restrictions loosen up and it's actually safe to do what we need to do to get on with the day-to-day. Until then, I'm not going to risk it, but hopefully one day. Hopefully one day. But yes, back to the real estate. Yes, so I was looking around because I've been flagging stuff that I like, flagging stuff that's meets my finance, like what I can afford, because I already know what I can afford. It's just, will the bank say yes? She is trustworthy. She pays her bills. She has a good track record. Credit's looking nice. So let's just give her this loan for the amount of money that she wants to get a mortgage for. So with that, I've been looking at mainly like 2 and 3 bedroom, either condos, townhouses, and some single families, but they have to have like a tiny yard because I don't like yard work. don't have a need for it. We don't have children. I don't need a big backyard. All I need is like a deck so I can make a catio for the kitties, and maybe a spot for a grill because I would like to grill. It's tasty. Love anything that has been burned by fire. Just tastes better than when it's cooked on the stove. Oh man. I'm thinking like roasted corn and roasted bell peppers. Those are so good. But anyway, so I was thinking like, oh, what could my fantasy second bedroom look like? You know, if it was something I pick, not something that was given to me, it would be just the ultimate second space of the home. And if it was a townhome, it would have like a whole basement where you could actually use it because it'll be finished, unlike ours now, because we live in a townhome, but the basement is really just where the washer dryer is. We have a little bit of storage, but it floods. The area we live in is known for flooding, so it floods in the basement, and the complex hasn't installed a sump pump, so when it floods, and it'll stay dank and horrible down there for a long time. And so we don't do anything down there, but a lot of the townhomes I've looked at do have a finished basement where you have either another bathroom or you have like a cool storage area or just a place to hang out with your family or whatever. And I'm like, ooh, that would be the perfect place to have like my partner downstairs so they can yell and scream when they're playing their video games all they want. And we'll have the washer down there. Well, it depends on where you live. Sometimes it's in the basement, sometimes it's actually on the main floor. And I could have a lot of storage, and then we could have like the second room be what it is now, where it's my craft room, and then their workout stuff can be in the basement too. And it'll just be like their man cave or whatever. And then the second room can be like the guest room / craft room, like it is right now, minus the workout stuff. But oh, that would be so nice. And then I'd have like nice lighting and a lot of space, and I could have all my yard on display so I could actually see. Well, it's in clear containers now so I can see it, but as far as like having it out and in the space so I don't have to keep pulling it out every time I want to get something, that would be nice. So that's like my fantasy extra room where it's just dedicated to knitting and being peaceful and all of that. So here we are. We've made a couple more rows. Not a huge dent, but a dent nonetheless. So thanks so much for listening to me, and I hope you have a good day wherever you are. Bye.